Man, we just cannot catch a break this season. We just cannot catch a break this season, bro. It's honestly crazy how football can just change your emotions like that. Like that, football can just change your emotions. Where one day you're on top of the world, feeling great, and then the next, back to the bottom. Like literally, for us Barca fans, one day we're celebrating going back to the top of the league because Real Madrid followed it against Osasuna. We won our game against Levante, a great match. Players stepping up, players coming back like Pedri. We get news that Gavi's back in training. Finally, months of not having Gavi. Finally, he's back in training. Hopefully soon we get to see some playing time for him as well. Hansi Flick's birthday just passed too, man. Happy birthday to the gaffer. The whole team back together in anticipation of what's looking like a tough month of March. A lot of important games. Happiness. Everyone's back. And then we get hit with this shit. Official, Frenkie de Jong sustained an injury to the distal biceps of his right leg during this morning's training session too. Not even a game, during a training session. His recovery period will be approximately 5 to 6 weeks. All right, so around a month and a half. I'm not liking this 5 and 6 weeks thing right here, because this leads me to believe, okay, maybe 7 weeks, maybe 2 months for him to be fully recovered and fully back to 100%. Oh, man, this is such a major blow, bro. This is such a major blow, especially considering literally in a couple days, like next week, we have to play Atletico Madrid for the second leg of the Copa del Rey, where it's already tough enough that we have to make a comeback, a 4-0 comeback, but not having one of our main players too. Man, such a major blow, bro. I know a lot of people have mixed opinions when it comes to Frenkie de Jong. I know some people like him. I know some people don't, and I can understand that because Frenkie de Jong is definitely at times very inconsistent, especially when we need him for the big games. Like recently against Atletico Madrid, he did not perform. He did not have the greatest of games. But when Frenkie is playing well, when he is doing great, he's a very important player, and he's an incredible player. An incredible player. Like against Levante, he was amazing. He was extraordinary. So I can understand people having mixed emotions. I already seen people taking it to the level of, we're going to do way better without Frenkie de Jong. I wouldn't say that, right? Because I know Frenkie de Jong is a major miss for us. Not only because of his ability and what he can offer us as a footballer, but also as a leader on the pitch for Barcelona. Because considering the captains that we have, he was the main captain because Araujo right now is technically the first captain because Ter Stegen got loaned out to Girona. I mean, he's not even playing for Girona right now, but Araujo has been getting minutes. So Frenkie has been the number one captain. So that leadership as well, that experience that we need when Frenkie de Jong, especially during this time of the season where it's crunch time, where we need all of our important players, not having him now is a major blow. So this sucks, and it makes it even worse with the fact that Pedri is back. So having Frenkie and Pedri play together, it would have been amazing to see now, especially, again, in this upcoming month of March with a lot of important games, man. So, man, this is such a major blow for us, for Hansi Flick, for the team, and now we got to do without Frenkie de Jong for the next 5 to 6 weeks. So, yeah. So, as we can see right here, these are the games that Frenkie de Jong will be missing with his absence due to his injury. Villarreal at home, which is this weekend, so, all right, in a couple days. Atletico Madrid for the second leg of the Copa del Rey at the Camp Nou. Again, it's going to be a very tough match now without him because having that dominance in the midfield, the most progressive midfielders that we have that are secure as a double pivot is Frenkie and Pedri. So them playing alongside each other would have been great for this game, especially since we need goals, and these two can create magic out of nowhere, can create chances when needed. So playing them together would have been the most ideal situation going into this game. But now we have to make do without Frenkie de Jong, which just sucks, man. It just sucks. Athletic Club, which I'm pretty sure it's an away game. The UCL round of 16 first leg, which is, again, we got to get drawn either against PSG or Newcastle. Hopefully not PSG now. With this injury, hopefully not PSG now. But Newcastle or PSG. Sevilla at home. The UCL round of 16 second leg. And so we're going to miss both legs. 2 very important games. And Rayo Vallecano at home. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, let me just make sure because I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure what I just said in terms of home and away, I got it right. So yeah, Villarreal at home, Atletico at home, Athletic Club away, Sevilla at home, and Rayo Vallecano at home, okay? And then hopefully it's not prolonged even further because then would that mean Atletico Madrid away for La Liga, which is an important match, and a derby against Espanyol as well. So a lot of important games that potentially... I mean, these are all confirmed right here, but these are 2 potentials as well. Hopefully not, but a lot of important games, bro. A lot of important games. The only positive thing that I can take away from this, like trying to find some type of positive, is the fact that La Liga games that he will be missing, a majority of them will be at home. Athletic Club is the only one's going to be away, but a majority of them, if the prediction of him being out for 5 to 6 weeks is correct, a majority of the games for La Liga will be at home. That's the great thing. That's the good thing, because we can get away with with Frenkie not being there for those games. We can make rotations. We recently just saw with Cancelo before that game against Levante. Everyone was questioning Cancelo in his role for Barcelona. Why is he at Barcelona? We're not playing him, right? And then he comes in and he absolutely cooks and has an incredible game. So we can afford making rotations, putting Casado in there, putting Bernal, putting Eric Garcia in the midfielder again. We can make rotations when it comes to La Liga. But when it comes to these important games like the round of 16 matches or the game against Atletico Madrid, it's tough. It's tough not having your best players there. It's tough having to make rotations. It's tough having to trust other players that you don't trust at the level of a Frenkie de Jong. So, again, the only positive I can take away is against the La Liga teams, we can get away with it. But for these big games that are coming up, especially for the round of 16, because against Atletico is very far-fetched. Like, I believe the team can do it. They could definitely do it. But it's far-fetched compared to two important knockout rounds for the round of 16, which it's all in our hands right now, right? So, it sucks. It genuinely sucks that Frenkie de Jong will be missing these games, bro. It sucks ass for real. But other concerns that I have because of the absence of Frenkie de Jong are two main concerns, I would say. One of them being for Pedri Gonzalez. As we all know, Pedri just recently came back from his injury after being out for a month. He came back against Levante, got his minutes against Levante, which of course started off a little bit shaky, but that's understandable for a player who's just coming back after being out for a month. But the main concern now that I have is that we're going to have to overuse Pedri Gonzalez, and he's just come back from an injury, right? Like, realistically, the best case scenario is Pedri's back, but we're going to have to make some rotations. Against Atletico Madrid, he's going to 100% start. Yes, we all know that, right? But maybe against Villarreal, we bench the guy for another game. Against Villarreal, yes, I understand it's going to be a tough match. It is going to be a tough match, but we can bench him for a little bit, bring him on later into the game. Against other teams, again, bench him for a little bit, bring him on for the... Of course, for the big games, Pedri's going to play, right? But realistically, you want to take your time with him. You don't want to rush him in. You want to be cautious with having to give a lot of minutes to Pedri. But now we're in a situation where we have to force him to play every single game, every single minute, especially the big games. Because who's the most trustworthy player that we have in the midfield now with Frenkie's absence? It's Pedri. Pedri's the number one guy now. So Hansi Flick is forced in a situation where he practically has to play Pedri every game. And I am extremely worried that he can relapse in an injury, man. He just came back. And we have to force him to play a bunch of games now. Like, Pedri's used to playing a bunch of games, man. We already seen in the past how this guy gets overused a lot. But we also seen that he gets injured a lot because of overusing the kid. So that's one thing I'm very worried about, because if Pedri gets injured again, especially for a prolonged period of time, I'm calling the season off, man. If we lose Pedri for a long period of time, write the season off, man. Like, there's just no way we're getting through the whole season without Pedri. It's just no way, especially for the important games, bro. We know what Pedri offers. We know in his absence what happens, what we miss out without without having Pedri in the midfield. So that's one thing I'm very worried about. So Hansi Flick definitely has to be very smart with his man management, and obviously try not to play Pedri a lot and try not to overuse him a lot. But that also means that he has to show his man management skills and get the players that have been in a drought, like Casado, to step up, man. But these players also themselves had to look themselves in the mirror and just tell themselves, all right, I have to take it to the next level. Casado, Bernal, Dani Olmo, Fermin, Eric Garcia, if he has to play in the midfield. Who knows? Maybe even Cancelo. We might be innovative and just throw Cancelo in there. But he's probably capable of doing that. Whoever has to play in the midfield, whoever has to fill in for Frenkie, they just have to look at themselves in the mirror and say, all right, it's crunch time. This is the moment where Barcelona must step up. I have to step up. So, man, that's one thing I'm very worried about, that we overuse Pedri and he relapse, man. Like that would be tragic, bro. That would genuinely be tragic if we lose Pedri. We know we can't afford another injury to this beautiful player. But yeah, that's one thing I'm definitely worried about for sure. Another thing that I'm worried about is the stubbornness from Hansi Flick, right? We already know Hansi Flick is a stubborn manager when it comes to his tactics with the high line. That's been the main criticism these last couple of weeks, especially after Atletico Madrid and the Girona game. A lot of criticism came down to his tactics, right? But we can also see that he can be a stubborn manager at times with the players he chooses to trust, right? And that's the key word, trust. So another thing I'm worried about is that he'll play this midfield right here with Dani Olmo, Pedri, and Fermin. Dani Olmo playing the double pivot alongside Pedri Gonzalez. Fermin I don't have a problem with, right? But playing Dani Olmo and Pedri at the same time. That's the one thing I'm worried about because I don't want to see this. Especially for the big games. I do not want to see this, man. Dani Olmo, I can understand, has filled in these last couple of weeks with Pedri's absence. He's filled into that role playing alongside Frenkie de Jong. And at times we saw he did pretty well. But is it his best position? Is it suitable for Frenkie de Jong? Is it the best partner to have alongside Pedri de Jong? Pedri de Jong? What the fuck am I saying? Pedri, what the fuck? Am I saying Pedri de Jong? Frenkie de Jong. I'm drunk, bro. I'm just depressed right now. Alongside Frenkie de Jong, was it the best case? No, it was not. No, it was not because we also had to force Frenkie to step up a lot more than he needed to, maybe, like, more than he needed to when he had Pedri alongside him, right? So it's not the best case scenario, and we already saw with Casado there as well. It's not the best case scenario. So, but this is one thing I'm worried about because Hansi Flick, for the most part, wants to put players that he trusts the most. And that's Dani Olmo. Dani Olmo is one of those players that he trusts a lot. Because I can understand, Dani Olmo can definitely put in the work for you. He's definitely a workhorse. He definitely will step up for the team, do whatever he needs to do, sacrifice whatever he needs to do. Like we saw it earlier this season when Casado came off with an injury and he asked Dani Olmo, can you play in that position? And he said, all right, and he did it, right? So I can understand Hansi Flick trusts him, but is it the ideal situation? Is it the ideal midfield that he should be going out with? I don't think so, especially not for the big games. If he plays like this against Atletico, I'm going to be disappointed. If he plays like this against Newcastle or PSG, whoever we draw, I'm going to be disappointed because it shouldn't be it's not the best case scenario of a midfield, of a balanced midfield that he should be putting up with the players available to him now that Frenkie's out. Because what I want to see, and I think a lot of us can agree with this, is having Marc Bernal alongside Pedri Gonzalez. Because Marc Bernal has been looking great these last couple games. So why not trust the kid now? Why not trust him now and give him the opportunity? I can understand some people also saying that we have to be cautious with Bernal too, because when it comes to the injury that he suffered, you have to be very cautious with that. Not only just one season, but a couple seasons. Take your time with the guy too, and I can understand that as well. I think throughout this season, for the most part, Hansi Flick has done well with the minutes that he's giving Bernal. Trusting him here and there, giving some cameos here and there, starting some games here and there. But now I think we're at the point where he has to fully trust him to take it to another level and play these big games, play these important matches. Let him take that next step, because the best thing you can do for a player, especially a young player, is show that you trust them. Show you that you trust them. So I think this is the moment that Bernal needs to finally step up and take the reins of what he could potentially be for Barcelona in the midfield. Because we're all calling him, a Rodri region or a Busquets region, whatever you want to call it, what kind of region you want to put him as. We see the quality that he has. Now he has to show it. Now he has to show it at the biggest level, at the biggest stage, like the Champions League against Atletico Madrid for this big important match. Show what he's capable of in these La Liga matches. I think now is his time to really get that opportunity, man. Because Casado, he's not been looking great at all throughout the season. So he's the last person I want to trust right now. Eric Garcia looks way better as a defender, as a center back than he does as a midfielder. I don't want to see that either. Who else can we really throw in there? The Dani Olmo thing I already mentioned, right? So Bernal should realistically be the guy right now. He really should be the guy right now. And it's bringing me back to think like, what I'm trying to imagine a world if Bernal never got injured last season, because Hansi Flick decided to trust the kid. He's the one that introduced him to the team. Who introduced him to the fans as well. He brought him to Barcelona and to the first team and gave him the minutes because he trusted him and he saw things in him, right? Of course, he was nowhere near anywhere like you can say now or anywhere near he's nowhere near the finished product. Nowhere near. He's still like 18 or 19, whatever. He's still a very young guy. He's a teenager still. But it's a matter of, we saw that Hansi Flick trusted him, and we saw good qualities in him, where early on last season, before he got his injury, we were calling him Sergio Busquets region, and not only because of his height, because of what he was doing on the pitch as well. So we saw great qualities in him. So I'm just trying to imagine a world where he never got injured. how much trust Hansi Flick would have put on him throughout the whole season. Because Casado only got his opportunity because Bernal went down. That's the only reason Casado got his opportunity last season. So I really wanted to. I'm trying to imagine a world where he never got injured and how much of a trust Hansi Flick would have put him in throughout the whole season. But it's a matter of if Hansi Flick had that trust with him last season, especially early on in the season, when Hansi Flick just joined and he needed to showcase himself, especially with the players available to him. If he trusted the kid, why not trust him now? Why not trust him now? Where physically he's looking way better. He's looking way more recovered. He's looking good. He's getting his minutes. He's just got his goal against Levante. He's getting his confidence up as well. Again, the best thing you can do for a young player, especially a player who wants to prove himself, is show that you trust him and give him the minutes. So I think that's one thing I'm definitely worried about, that Hansi Flick will put in Dani Olmo instead of Bernal. I think most of us can agree that Bernal should be starting there. I don't know. Some people may think Casado should start there. I don't know. Or Eric Garcia should start there. But I personally believe that Bernal should start these games now. With Frankie's absence, Bernal should be alongside Pedri Gonzalez. So, I mean, we'll see this weekend who he decides to trust against Villarreal. I think that will be the first step or the first glimpse of what we'll see of the trusting midfield that Hansi Flick wants to go on until Frankie comes back. But for me, in my opinion, it should be a Bernal. So, hopefully he does it. We'll see. We'll see what he decides to do. If he decides to put Eric Garcia there, okay, I guess. But then that means you have to start trusting Araujo. And Araujo hasn't been getting a lot of minutes. He hasn't been really been starting at all either. So I don't know. It's a very difficult situation, man. It honestly sucks a lot. And one person I definitely feel for them a lot is Hansi Flick himself, right? Because Hansi Flick has already been criticized a lot throughout the season. It's understandable why. You know, the crazy thing is I saw a tweet saying that from this point, from the last season, we're doing better than last season, apparently. Like in terms of stats, in terms of numbers, whatever, we're doing better than last season. But it doesn't feel like that way at all, because throughout the season, we've been struggling here and there. Right? One month we're struggling, the next month we're doing great. And 1 month it's been here and there throughout the season. Well, last season we had a period between November and December where we were looking bad. Everyone was doubting us. We were doubting ourselves as well. And then from there we went and killed it and obviously achieved what we achieved last season, right? So this season's been feeling weird about that, right? And I can understand the frustrations that people and fans have been having towards Hansi Flick this season and the players as well, right? So this is why I feel the most for Hansi Flick, because he's come into another season where he's had to do and create magic. Yes, he's gotten some backings. He got Rooney in, he got Rashford in, he got Juan Garcia in, he got João Cancelo in midway through the season. But was it the ideal transfer window? Was it the ideal situation he wanted to go in through the season? Obviously, after losing Inigo Martinez as well. No, it wasn't. We know Hansi Flick wanted more. He wanted more backings, especially in January when Christensen went down. Everyone knew that Cancelo was not the priority for Hansi Flick in the slightest. You know, I was okay with Cancelo coming in. I was okay with that. I actually liked Cancelo coming in, but you best believe Hansi Flick that wasn't his first choice whatsoever. He wanted a center back. He wanted more backings. Hansi Flick throughout the season has also had to suffer with a lot of injuries to a lot of key players as well. Here and there, Rafinha, John Garcia, Pedri, Fermin at times, Dani Olmo. Everyone's been getting injured this season, so he's had to also deal with that, right? So, looking at the situation that we're in right now, top of the Liga with 1 point. We've been up and down throughout this league this season. In the round of 16 of the Champions League, but of course we're nowhere near the favorites right now. A lot of people have been doubting us as fans as well, because of the problems we've been showing throughout the season. One step of being out of the Copa del Rey, a major step, because a 4-0 victory now, a 5-0 victory without conceding is going to be very difficult. And of course, we already won the Supercopa de España. So, considering how this season has been going, we're doing all right. But it's a matter of so many circumstances have been against Hansi Flick throughout the season that I can understand as a manager. It makes it very difficult for him. It makes it very, like we saw that picture or that video, whatever it was, of Rafinha having to console Hansi Flick and tell him, relax, everything's going to be all right, we'll be back, blah, blah, blah. But I just feel for him the most, because now he has to deal with another situation where he's losing another major player that he trusts, and now he has to work some magic and get the best out of all these other players, find a solution for this team to to compete and hopefully, you know, win more trophies throughout the season. You know, hopefully try to do what we did last season, even though it's looking difficult, right? So I feel for Hansi Flick the most. Honestly, he's been dealt a very hard hand throughout this whole season, and that's why we love him so much, or at least I love him so much, that he hasn't quit. He hasn't hid away. He hasn't, you know, given up on us, and you know, he's still fighting, he's still going, and that's what I'm saying. Like, Hansi Flick has to be back this summer. If not, he's leaving, man. He's leaving, bro. But I definitely feel for him the most, man. But yeah, guys, a very difficult situation, man. A very huge blow for Barcelona, bro. It genuinely sucks, but I want to hear you guys' opinion. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about this injury. Do you think it's a huge blow for Barcelona? Do you think that we're done, it's over, we might as well write the season off? Do you think we're going to do better without Frenkie? You know, I've seen people throw that out there, that we'll do better without Frenkie. Let me know all those things down in the comments below. I also want to remind you guys that tomorrow I will be going live for the UCL draw, which for my time, Eastern time, is going to be at 6 a.m. So it's going to be up early as hell. But I will be live for that. So if you guys want to join me for that, make sure to join me there for that tomorrow. But yeah, guys, make sure to like, subscribe, favorite, hit the notification bell for everything you upload. Share your friends, love football, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Whenever that is, much love, take care, be safe, God bless, and peace.